We now start chapter 8th of the Bhagavad Gita, Akṣara Brahma Yog. Arjuna Ovach, verse first. First verse, Arjuna Ovach. Kim tad Brahma kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottam, adhibhutam cha kim proktam, adhidaivam kim uchyate. 4 questions in first verse itself. First shlok, 4 questions by Arjuna. What are the questions? Kim tad Brahma kim adhyatmam. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? Arjuna is asking Krishna. Kim karma purushottam? O supreme Purusha, O supreme person. What is karma? Adhibhutam cha kim proktam? Proktam, mentioned or uttered or spoken. Adhibhutam, what is Adhibhutam? And then finally, Adhidaivam kim uchyate? What is uchyate? Passive voice. Uchyate is spoken. What is Adhidaivam spoken as? So Arjuna spoke. What is this Brahman? What is the Adhyatma? What is action, O highest among spirits? And the Adhibhuta, what it is declared to be. And the Adhidaiva, what it is said to be. And more questions. Second verse, chapter 8. Akṣara Brahma Yog, second shlok. Adhiyagna ha katham kaha atra dehe asmin madhusudana, Krishna. Prayana kale cha katham Geya asi niyatatma bhi. So many more questions now. Sargeant is asking, Adhiyadnya katham kaha atra. What is Adhiyadnya? Katham, how, kaha, who, atra, here. Dehe asmin, inside the body. What is there inside the body? Madhusudana, Krishna, please tell me. Prayan kale cha katham, at the end, at the last moment of one's life, at the time of the death. Cha katham, how. Geya asi, how is it known? Niyatatma bhi, how it is, how you are to be realized. So, in what manner and what it is the Adhiyadnya here in this body, O Krishna, and how at the hour of death are you to be known by those who are self-controlled. Niyatatma bhi, niyat, that is control, not niyat, it's not the longer I, it's the shorter I. Niyat, niyam becomes niyat. Niyam is noun, niyat is adjective. So, niyatatma bhi, by those who are self-regulated in their practices, how they can realize you at the time of their death. Now, replies start. Shri Bhagavan Uvach, Krishna spoke, or the blessed Lord spoke, Bhagavan the blessed. Alright. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate Bhuta Bhavaha Udbhava Karaha Visargaha Karma Sangitaha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam, the blessed Lord spoke. Brahman is the supreme imperishable. Aksharam. Ksharam perishable. Aksharam imperishable. Right? So Brahman is the supreme imperishable. That's the ultimate transcendental reality that never perishes, that is infinite, that is eternal. Swabhavaha adhyatmam uchyate. Adhyatma is said to be inherent nature of the individual, because inherent nature is the soul. So soul is what guides one's nature. Adhyatma guides one's nature. Bhuta bhavaha udbhava karaha. That originates the being of creature. That soul, that adhyatma, that inherent nature originates one's own, all the creatures. Visargaha, beyond rebirth, karma sangita. So rebirth is determined by karma. Karma sangitaha visargaha. So action is known as the creative power. So that creative power, that power to create new karmas, to do new things, that determines our rebirth from one to next and so on until we get our moksha. Fourth verse. Adhibhutam ksharaha bhavaha purushaha cha adhidaivatam adhiyadnyaha aham eva atra dehe bhritam vara. So Krishna is now giving one by one answers to all the questions that Arjuna has just raised in this chapter 8. Adhibhutam ksharaha bhavaha. The physicality, the material nature, material aspect of our beings, of all the creatures, are all perishable. Adhibhutam ksharaha, perishable, bhavaha. So adhibhuta is the perishable nature of being, or the sphere of the supreme spirit in acting on the individual nature. Purushaha cha adhidaivatam. But purushaha cha adhidaivatam. But the cosmic person, the supreme being is adhidaivatam. Adhidevata is the supreme divine agent itself, the cosmic person. The Purush Sukta is also mentioned in the Rig Veda 1090. Adhiyadnyaha aham eva atra. here, atra here, eva, me only, aham, I only here, is adhi yajnaha. Adhi yajnaha means the one who obtains, receives all the sacrifices that we offer, even while consuming food or even while doing rituals, where it goes, everything goes to the ultimate Brahman, ultimate. So Krishna says, I am that receiver, the ultimate receiver of all the yajnas, all the sacrifices. Dehe, inside the bodies, deha bhritam varaha. Vara, you are the most best among the people who are embodied being. So I am inside all bodies also, and you are one of the finest examples of such beings. Here in this body, O Arjuna. So Arjuna, he's referring as Deha Bhritam Vara, O chosen of the embodied, O best of the embodied, applied to Arjuna. Arjuna is the supreme example of an embodied being. Fifth verse. Antakale, very popular verse, this one you might have heard. Antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati sa madbhavam yati nastya atra sanshaya. Yati nastya atra sanshaya. So, Antakale, at the time of death, Antakale, the last moment of one's life, Antakale cha mam eva, to me, smaran, by remembering, muktva, having obtained liberation, kalevaram, liberation from this body. By remembering me at the last moment of your life, you can get liberation from this body, from this rebirth. Yah prayati, yah prayati is, goes to my, yah prayati, he goes. Yati, ya is to go. Prayati, sort of special journey, samadbhavam, to my being. You come to me. My state of being you come to if you remember me at the time of your death. Yati nastya atra sanshaya. That is beyond doubt. That is undoubtedly true, that if you remember me at the time of death, you come to me. Right? In this matter, there is no doubt. All right, sixth verse. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam ev iti kaunteya sada tad bhav bhavitaha. Yam yam. In whichever way somebody remembers, whichever way somebody remembers or takes his or her thinking in whichever direction, tyajati ante, at the time of leaving his or her body, ante, at the time of the death, tam tam eva iti kaunteya, O Arjuna, that will determine that their last thoughts at the time of their death will determine their next birth. Sada tad bhava bhavitaha. That will become their state of being in the next life. So moreover, whatever state of being they remember, when they give up the body at the end, they go respectively to that state of being, Arjuna, transformed into that state of being. And finally, that's also very popular. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmar yudhya cha maya arpit manobuddhir mam eveshyasi asanshayam. Undoubtedly, O Arjuna, tasmat, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, mam anusmar, follow me and fight, yuddhaya cha. Maya arpit manobuddhi, and your mind and your intellect should always be surrendered to me, dedicated to me. Mam evashyasi asanshaya. Mam eva eshyasi asanshayam. And you will come to me, you will attain my state of being. That is undoubtedly true. So just follow me and do your duty and fight. 8th shlok. Abhyas yoga yuktena chetasa na anyagamina paramam purushan divyam yati parth anuchintayan. Abhyas yoga yuktena. The one who is united constantly in yoga, or united in yoga and in this practice of yoga, abhyas yoga yuktena, united yoga yuktena, abhyas, practice, chetasa, by mind, na anyagamina, not going anywhere else, focused only on this goal of achieving moksha, achieving or uniting with Brahman. Paramam Purusham Divyam. Yati, he goes to, yati, to go. Paramam Purusham Divyam, the divine being, the Aksharam, Brahmam, Purushottamam, Brahman, all those words meaning the same thing. Parth Anuchintayan, he goes, Arjuna, meditating on him, to the divine supreme spirit. Meditating, Anuchintayan. So by that meditation, he reaches his goal. Verse 9th. Kavi Puranam Anushasitaram अणोः अणियान्सम् अनुस्मरेत् यः सर्वस्य धातारम् अचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्. Beautiful words here. Kavi Puranam. Puranam is ancient. Puran is also a set of texts, Vishnu Purana and so on. But here Puran simply means ancient, which gives us the Hindi word Purana. Anyway, Puranam. So Kavim. Kavim is not just a poet. Kavi is a philosopher who visualizes, who lives the philosophy of Vedanta and so on. So Kavim Puranam. So Vedic rishis were called as Kavis, So here the same meaning is here. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram. He who meditates on the ancient seer. So here Brahman is compared with ancient seer. Kavim Puranam. Anushasitaram. Anushasitaram comes from the word Anushasan, that means discipline. So Anushasitaram, one who is disciplined, who is self-controlled, that ancient seer. Anoho Aniyansam. Smaller or subtler than even an atom. Anuho is atom. Anoho Aniyansam. Aniyansam, subtle and very small, extremely tiny, extremely subtle. Anusmared Yaha, one who meditates on that ancient phenomenon of Brahman. Sarvasya Dhataram, that ancient phenomenon is supporting everybody. Sarvasya, of everybody. Dhataram, supporter. Achintya Rupam, that is Achintya, beyond imagination. It can't be imagined. It's beyond imagination. His form is beyond imagination. Aditya Varnam, radiating like the sun. Aditya, son of Aditi. So Aditya Varnam, sun, color of the sun. Tamasaha Parastat, beyond all darkness. Tamas is Sattva, Tamas and Rajas. Tamas simply here means darkness. Tamasaha Parastahat, Parahatat, so that he's beyond that darkness. Verse 10th. Prayan Kale Manasa Chalen. Now again Prayan Kale, death. What happens? Prayan Kale Manasa Achalen. Bhaktya Yuktaha Yoga Valena Cha Eva. Bhuvoho Madhye. Pranam Aveshyam Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. At the time of death, Prayan Kale once again, Manasa Achalen, mind constant, stable, with stable mind, constant mind. Bhaktya, with the devotion, Bhaktya Yuktaha, Yoga Balena Cha Eva. The yoga of bhakti, using that power of yoga and devotion, focusing here, Bhuvoho Madhye, between the eyebrows, Pranam Aveshya Samyak, his entire life force, life breath after life force, Pran is focused here. Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divam. By that focus, by that devotion, by bringing his Pran here in this center of the eyebrows, this place is considered very sacred, very important in all traditions of India, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. So by that focus, at the time of death, Satam Parasham Purusham Upaiti Divyam. That person, that somebody who is meditating like that will achieve his goal. He reaches this divine supreme spirit of Brahman. Verse 11. Yad aksharam veda vidaha vadanti vishanti yad vyatayaha vitaragaha yad ichchantaha brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. I will explain. Krishna is telling Arjuna, tatte padam, that step, padam, step. Sangrahen, in brief, pravakshe, I will explain. What step? Yad aksharam ved vidaha vadanti. Ved vidaha, those who are scholars of the Vedas, vadanti, speak of. Yad aksharam, that imperishable. Akṣara means that perishes. Aksharam, that never perishes. In fact, tuberculosis is called as Kshaya Rog in Sanskrit, Hindi, Indian languages. Kshaya, decay. Kshaya Rog, TB, tuberculosis. Ksharam, that which decays. Aksharam, that never decays. Yat aksharam ved vidaha vadanti. Ved vida, scholars of Vedas speak of that imperishable. Vishanti yad yatyaha vitaraga. Vitaraga, the self-restrained people who are performing all kinds of austerities, the renunciants, monks, ascetics, and so on, nuns, and so on. Yatyaha vitaraga, vishanti yad. As they enter this supremely divine, imperishable being which the scholars of Vedas speak of, yat ichantaha brahmacharyam charanti, and they practice celibacy and all kinds of brahmacharya practices as they desire this ultimate moksha. That step I will now briefly explain. Krishna is telling Arjuna. Verse 12, chapter 8. Sarva dvarani sanyamya manaha hridi niruddhya cha murdhanya adhayatmanah pranam Asthitaha Yog Dharanam. So, what you have to do for that, to achieve that goal? Sarva Dwarani Sanyamya. The 9 gates of your body, eyes and ears and so on, you need to control, self-restrain them, self-control them, discipline them, Sanyamya. Manaha Hridi Niruddhyacha. And you have to also put restraint on your mind and even your heart, confirming the mind in heart. Right? Then Murdhanya, between on this head, Adhayatmanaha Pranam. Again, bringing your prana into your head, that same place, same space. Asthitaha Yoga Dharanam. And by practicing or supporting yoga, by practicing yoga, established in yoga concentration, you have to do what? Verse 13, chapter 8. Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran yah prayati tyajan deham sa yati paramam gatim. So Om iti ekaksharam brahman, that syllable of Om, you have to utter that syllable of Om, which equates with Brahman. Vyaharan mam anusmaran, you have to follow, remember me. Anusmaran, smaran is to memorize, smaran, so chanting basically. Vyaharan mam anusmaran, chant my name, Om. Yah prayati tyajan deham, you goes forth, you prayati, you goes beyond. Tyajan deham, renouncing the body you will renounce. And sayati paramam gati, and you get your supreme goal by that practice of focusing on your this third eye, which is so-called third eye, and by chanting my name of Om, you will attain that supreme destination. And finally, verse 14th, Ananya chetaha satatam yah mam smarati nityashah tasya aham sulabha parth nitya yuktasya yoginah. The yogi who is nitya yukta, once again constantly united with Brahman. Ananya chetaha satatam, he is by his mind, he is always smarati, he is remembering, chanting my name, nityashah, smarati. Tasya aham, to him, of him, sulabha, I am easily available to him, somebody who is chanting my name constantly, partham. Verse 15th. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam na prapnuvanti mahatmanah sansiddhim paramam gataha. Mam upetya, mam, to me. Upetya, up, always has this sense of near. Upanishad, sit near and discuss spiritual topics, that became the Upanishads. Upavas, to stay closer to divinity, God, upavas, and that became fast. Then Upanishad, I already mentioned Upavas. Now here is Upetya, having gone near, mam, to me, whoever comes near me. Punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. What happens to him? Whoever comes to me? Punarjanma, their rebirth, their all kinds of sorrows, sufferings, dukkhalayam, ashashvatam. Anything temporary, which is perishable, which is temporary. Na prapnuvanti mahatmanah. So those Mahatma, those great souls who come near me, mam upetya, like we saw in the beginning of this verse, na prapnuvanti, they do not obtain any sorrows, sufferings, or all temporary things. What happens to them? Sansiddhim, they go to the ultimate accomplishment, ultimate perfection, ultimate liberation, moksha. Paramam gataha, paramam, supreme, gataha, having gone. So, overall, verse 15 means, approaching me, those whose souls are great, those are the Mahatmanah, who have gone to the supreme perfection. Sansiddhim paramam gataha. That impermanent home of misfortune, they do not incur birth. So, ashashvatam, temporary or impermanent, dukkhalayam, this abode of suffering, this keep taking rebirth on this planet Earth, is house of suffering. That compares well with Buddhism, which Buddha says that life itself is suffering. Something similar here. Coming here again and again is suffering. You have to go to every time this cycle goes on, this rebirth cycle keeps giving us temporary happiness, temporary sorrow, and the cycle goes on. So Bhagavan is saying, Bhagavan Yogeshwar, Krishna is saying, come to me, mam upetya, then all the suffering will end. Alright, verse 16th. A Brahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartinah arjuna mam upetya tu kaunteya punarjanmanah vidyate. Same thing again in different words. Mam upetya tu kaunteya, son of Kunti, oh Arjun, punarjanmanah vidyate. You don't have to undergo rebirth process again. And Brahma Bhuvanat Lokaha, Punaravat, all these universes, even Brahma Lok, even the Swarga or Vaikuntha, whatever you call it, even that is temporary. Even that undergoes these cycles of rebirth. Brahma Bhuvanat Lokaha, from all the way from Brahma Bhuvan to the present Lokaha, Punaravartina, they're all subject to rebirth. And so this cycle continues. Punaravartam, repetition, iteration, reiteration. Arjun, Mam upetitu, but if you come to me, you don't have to go to rebirth. So up to Brahma's realm of being, the worlds are subject to successive rebirths, Arjuna, but he who reaches me is not reborn. Verse 17. Sahasra yug paryantam ahaha yad brahmanaha viduhu ratri yuga sahastrantam te ahaha ratra vidoha janaha. Ahaha means day. Saptaha, sapt aha. Excellent word. We rarely think of these words. Saptaha, sapt 7, aha day. Sapt aha 7 days, week. Same word here. Aha. Sahasra yuga paryantam, 1000 yugas, till 1000 yugas. Ahaha yad brahmanaha. That's one day for Brahma. Ahaha, day. Yad, brahmana, of Brahma. Viduhu, scholars or those who are wise people know that Brahma's one day is 1000 yugas. Ratri yuga sahasram, and then one night could be again another 1000 yugas. Te aha ratra vidaha jana. Those who know those kind of day, Brahma's day and night, those are the scholars, those are the wise people. So they who know that the day of Brahma extends as far as 1000 yugas, that the night of Brahma ends only in 1000 yugas, they are people who know day and night. Those are the real days and nights of Brahma, 1000 yugas. One day, 1000 yugas, one night, 1000 yugas. Verse 18th. Avyaktat vyaktayaha sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratrayagame praliyanti tatra eva avyakta sangyake. So what happens? Avyaktat vyaktayaha sarvaha. All that is unmanifest, avyakta, that is not, you can't see them, that becomes vyaktayaha, that becomes manifested. Vyakt and avyakt. Avyakt is hidden, unmanifested. Vyakt is manifested. You can see that. So all that is unmanifest becomes manifest. Prabhavanti, it becomes, hence it comes forth, it manifests. Aharagame, again day. Aharagame, when the day arrives, all the unmanifest becomes manifest. Which day? This is the Brahma's day. When Brahma's day starts, all unmanifest manifests. Ratrayagame praliyanti, but when the Brahma's night comes, everything praliyante, pralaya, dissolves. So in Hinduism and Jainism, there is no creation and permanent destruction. It's an infinite cycle of coming to manifest. It gets manifested and it gets hidden. Avyakt and vyakt. Avyakt and vyakt. This cycle goes on forever. There's an infinite cycle. So that's what Krishna is saying. Yes. Ratrayagame, ratri agame. Something again. Ratri agame. When the night comes, agame. Agam, come is to go, agam is to come. Right? So ratri agame praliyanti. Everything dissolves. Tatra eva avyakta sangyake. That is what is known as vyakt and avyakt. So let's read. From the unmanifest, all manifestations come forth at the arrival of Brahma's day. At the arrival of Brahma's night, they are dissolved. At that point to be known as the unmanifest again. So that it becomes unmanifest again when the Brahma's night arrives. All right, verse 19, chapter 8. Bhutagramah sa eva ayam bhutva praliyate ratri agame avashaha partha prabhavati aharagame. Again, once again, same thing. Aharagame, when the day comes, prabhavati, it becomes manifested. Ratri agame avashaha partha. But when the night comes, avasha, without, you can't stop it. This process is spontaneous, automatic. Vash means to control. Bas mein karna. Vash means to control. Avash, it's out of control. It's not in anybody's control. It's an automatic autopilot mode. This cycle of creation, cycle of manifestation and dissolution goes on forever. Bhutva praliyate. All those, it keeps happening. It keeps becoming and then keeps dissolving. Bhutagramah sa eva. What happens how it dissolves? All the beings become like a set of or what it's aggregate of beings, an aggregate or group of beings together, it unmanifests and then it manifests again, and then the universe continues. So this multitude of beings having come to be again and again is dissolved helplessly at the arrival of night, Arjuna, and it comes into existence again at the arrival of day. All right, verse 20th, chapter 8. Paraha tasmat tu bhavaha anyah avyaktaha avyaktat sanatanah yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatyasu na vinashyati. But high, so paraha tasmat tu bhavaha anyah, even higher than this state of being, avyaktaha avyaktat sanatanah, from that unmanifested there is something even higher being, which is my abode, which is the moksha. So Krishna is saying manifest, unmanifest, but beyond unmanifest is my state of being, which is moksha. Avyaktaha avyaktat sanatan, and that is sanatan. That is imperishable, that is eternal, that is constant, that is permanent. Yah sa sarveshu bhut. So that ultimate Brahman resides in every being forever. Yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu, in all beings, O Arjuna. Nashyati, nashyatsu na vinashyati. So that ultimate Brahman never perishes in all the beings of the universe. All right, and the verse 21st. Avyaktaha akṣara iti uktaha tam ahuh paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tad dham paramam mama. That is my abode. Tad, that, dham, abode or state, paramam, supreme, mama, my. That is my supreme abode. Which one? Ya prapyam na nivartante. Having obtained that state, nobody comes back. Nobody returns to this universe, which is temporal. Tam ahu paramam gati. That is the ultimate being. That is the ultimate condition, ultimate state. Avyaktaha akṣara iti ukta. And that is avyaktaha, unmanifested, ultimate unmanifested state. Akṣara, permanent, imperishable. Iti uktam. That is how it is mentioned. That is how it is said. So this unmanifest is the imperishable. Thus it is said. They call it the supreme goal, attaining which they do not return. That is my supreme dwelling place. 22nd Bhagavad Gita. Purushaha sa paraha partha bhaktya labhyastu ananyaya yasyantaha sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. Purushaha, supreme spirit, Brahman, sa paraha partha. Paraha, supreme, beyond everything, transcendental phenomenon, Brahman, Purusha, sa, he, paraha, beyond, Partha, O Arjuna, son of Pritha, son of Kunti, bhaktya labhyasya tu ananyaya. That Brahman can be obtained by ananya bhakti, bhakti in which you remain yoga yukta, you remain united with divinity, with Brahman 24/7. Advait, feeling Advait philosophy is reflected here. So non-stop bhakti 24/7. Bhaktya ananya. Ananya means anya, when you are not other from divinity. Anya, negative of anya, so not non-otherness. Ananya bhakti, so Advait bhakti. Yasya antaha sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. Yena sarvam idam tatam. This is everything is Brahman. Yen, by whom? By Brahman. Yen is instrumental, so by whom? Sarvam, this everything. Idam, this everything. Tatam, that is by that. So yasya antah sthani bhutani, within which all beings stand. Yasya antah sthani bhutani. Bhutani, all beings. Sthani, stand or stay in Brahman. And by which all this universe is pervaded. Yen sarvam idam tatam. Tatam is neuter, idam neuter. So yeah, so this universe is pervaded by that Brahman or Purusha. 23rd verse, chapter 8, Akṣara Brahma Yoga. Yatra kale tu anavritim avritim cha eva yoginah prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bhartarshabha, son of Bharat or Bharat or descendant of Bharat, that is Arjuna. Krishna is talking to Arjuna. Vakshyami, I will explain, future tense, singular. Vakshyami. So I will explain. What will I explain? Yatra kale tu anavritim. The place, the time from where there is no return. Anavritim. Avratim, anavritim. No return. Right? Point of no return. Avratim cha eva yoginah. Or yogis, some yogis do return back.
Anavratim, those who attain moksha. Avratim, those who have not yet attained moksha. So we, like common mortals like us, we come back, we die, we come back, we die. So rebirth goes on. So that's it. Anavratim, moksha. Avratim, we come back. Repetition. Avrati also means repetition. So yeah, so rebirth is a repetitive process. Prayata yanti tam kalam. Kalam is death here. So at the time of death, as they transcend their body, this current time cycle, they may return or they may not return, depending on their karma, depending on their punya and pap. So, but at which times the yogins return or do not return, as they depart at death, of these times I shall speak, Arjuna. Verse 24th, very interesting now, very, very interesting. The entire year is divided into two parts. So what Krishna is saying, Yogeshwar Krishna is saying, Agnihi Jyotihi Ahaha Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vidah Janaha. Beautiful, beautiful words here. Uttarayanam is the time of Makar Sankranti. When Uttarayan comes, when Makar Sankranti comes, sun goes to the northern hemisphere. Right? Sun is now traveling to north. So what happens here? Agnihi, fire, Jyotihi, light, Ahaha, then day. I told you Saptaha, 7 days, Sapta, Aha, 7 days. Aha means day. So Agnihi, fire, Jyotihi, light, Aha, day, Shuklaha, light, enlightened day. Right? A lot of light. Shukla is white, literally. So white, the light. Shanmasa, 6. Shad is 6. Shanmasa, 6 months. Uttarayana, when sun is in the northern hemisphere for 6 months. Tatra prayata gachanti. If you leave that time, your body, Brahma Vidhajana, those are the people who have realized Brahman. They do not return. I think he is implying that. Let's see in the next line. So what he says, fire, brightness, day, and bright lunar fortnight. Shukla is bright lunar fortnight. The 6 months of the northern course of the sun, Uttarayanam, Uttar, north, Uttarayanam, moving or sun when he is migrating to northern hemisphere. Departing then, the men who know Brahman go forth to Brahman. They attain moksha. Now, 25th verse. Dhumaha ratrihi tatha krishnaha shanmasaha dakshinayanam tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate. If you happen to leave your body in those circumstances, you are bound to come back. That's what is implied here in this chapter 8, verse 25. Akṣara Brahma Yoga. So what is saying? Dhumaha, smoke, ratrihi, night, tatha krishna, that is dark lunar fortnight. Krishna and Shukla. Even Yajurved has two parts. Krishna Yajurved, Shukla Yajurved. Here the time is divided into two parts. Shukla is bright lunar fortnight. Krishna is dark lunar fortnight. Shanmasa Dakshinanam, or when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, the darker hemisphere, Tatra Chandramasam, attaining by these the lunar light, Yogi Prapya Nivartante. If you are leaving your body in that time frame, you are bound to return. That's what is implied. Verse 26, chapter 8. Shukla Krishna Gati hi ete 2, Shukla Krishna, white and black, Jagataha Shashvate Mate, Ekaya Yatya Anavrattim, Ananya Avartate Punah. So Shukla Krishna, white and black, Gati hete. 2 are the conditions or movements of the soul, could be in darker phase or lighter phase. Jagata Shashvate Mate. This is the eternal opinion of universally known opinion. Jagata, universally. Shashvate, eternal. Mate, opinion. Ekaya Yatya Anavrattim. By attaining one, you do not return. Ananya Avartate Punah. But if you live in the other phase, you are bound to return. So these are the two paths, light and dark, thought to be eternal for the universe, Shashvat, eternal. By one he does not return, Anavrati. By the other he returns again, Avrati. Verse 27th. Na ete sriti partha janan yogi muhyati kashchana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yuktah bhava arjuna. Be a true yogi. Practice that ananya bhakti. O Arjuna, yogi bhava Arjuna. Krishna is reminding almost every chapter he is telling. Be a good yogi. Always be united with me, Brahman or Purusha or Yogeshwar, whatever name we call it. Yoga Yukta Bhava Arjuna. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. Therefore, Tasmat Sarveshu, in all times, Sarveshu Kaleshu. Na eti sriti parthajanan. By knowing these two paths, na eti sriti parthajanan, yogi muhyati. Then you will never be deluded. Yogi muhyati, Kashchana. Rarely, if ever, a yogi will be deluded. Muhyati. Muhyati is delusion, illusion. Moha, illusion. Muhyati, deludes, or he is in illusion. So that will never happen if you practice the true yoga of that Ananya Bhakti. So knowing these two paths, the yogi is not confused at all. Therefore, at all times, be steadfast in yoga, Arjuna. And finally, the last verse of chapter 8. We are completing chapter 8. Very interesting. Comparing Bhakti Yoga with Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga and Raj Yoga in this verse. Vedeshu, Yadneshu, Tapahasu, Cha Eva, Daneshu, Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam, Atyeti Tat Sarvam Idam Viditva, Yogi Param Sthanam Upaiti Cha Adyam. What you attain by studying Vedas, performing yajnas, performing austerities, or giving donations, right? So all these are covered here. Vedeshu, Jnana Yoga, Yajneshu and Daneshu, Karma Yoga, Tapaha is Raj Yoga. Whatever punyas you will attain, pradishtam, obtained, punya phalam, what you obtain, atyati tat sarvam, by having known this knowledge that I just gave you of practicing that Ananya Bhakti, you are obtaining those same fruits, same punyam. Right? Atyati tat sarvam idam vidit. By having known this, viditva, having known idam, this, yogim param sthanam upaiti chaddit. And you obtain the supreme place of moksha by practicing Ananya Bhakti. So glimpses of Bhakti are sprinkled in so many chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, not just in the chapter 12th, which is named itself Bhakti Yoga, but even here the yoga of imperishable Brahman, that is Aksharam Brahman Yoga, is also hinting at Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. So the yogin, having known all this, goes beyond the pure fruit of action which comes from study of the Vedas, sacrifices, that is yajnam, austerities, tapaha, rajyog, and gifts, that is dan, and goes to the supreme primal state. So Bhakti can lead you to the ultimate position, ultimate fruit of the Bhakti, which is moksha. So that is possible through Bhakti. So by this we complete chapter 8 and we'll start chapter 9 next time.